Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining Motion in our webinar on seals that power heavy mining equipment. Today, just like to remind you that there will be a Q&A panel open later on and during my discussion and that of David's later on. So please look at the links on the screen to type your questions in going through. At the end of the webinar, everyone who participates will receive an email. We're going to have a post of this webinar and the email questions we sent back to you also. Thank you. Okay, I'd just like to introduce myself and David. I'm a fitter and machinist by trade, and I've been in the hydraulic seal industry for over 30 years, 12 years of Motion and 18 years with another company. David?
Thanks, Mark. Good morning, everybody. My name's David Stoddart. I am, instrument maker by trade. I did 13 years of CNC machining and programming. I joined the sealing industry 24 years ago as a machinist, and slowly progressed my way up to sort of seal design.
Okay, next slide, please. So today we're going to be talking about seals that power heavy mining equipment. Briefly, we'll just touch on standard seals before we move into the main topic of the heavy equipment machinery. So I'll just go to the agenda. So what we're going to talk about is what is a seal and its importance. We're going to then touch on material selections, into the Motion earth moving seal kitting program, development. Then we'll go over to David for the CNC machine seals and talk about that. The webinar should go for between 30 and 40 minutes plus questionnaires afterwards. So thank you. Okay, we're going to start off with what is a seal. Okay, for the people who don't know, a seal is a mechanism to prevent leakage of a gas or a liquid. It can be used in many different applications, but for us, we're going to be talking more so in the hydraulic cylinder manufacturer range. It also includes pneumatic cylinders. Okay. The seal is supported also by other components to make its longevity. We have rod wipers, we have wear bands. A seal is not just a seal. A seal is actually developed for the application to be used. So we have different materials, we have different styles of seals. All depends on the application of what we're using and the conditions also of the product. A rod wiper is very important in supporting the seal. Job of a rod wiper is to wipe contaminants off the rod and liquids also to stop any contamination of the fluid or to damage the rod wiper seal. In a pneumatic cylinder, we also have rod wipers, but they're more of a soft rubber wiper. And their job also is just to prevent contaminants moving into the parts. There are many different styles of seals. What I'm going to talk about now is the molded product of polyurethane seals. Motion Industries is not a, well, let's just go back on that one, sorry. On this range here, sorry, one more. Next slide, please. Sure. Here the main job of hydraulics is to stop a leak. Here's an exploded diagram of a cylinder that shows the piston seal, wear bands, rod seal, rod wiper, and O-rings. All commonly termination is they seal something. The cylinder works by increased force behind the piston, which forces the rod outwards. The seal is only as good as the application to housing and materials. It can be damaged quite easily without having a good rod wiper in that position there. We have a full range of products. Motion is aligned to the CASTAS sealing products manufactured in Germany and Turkey to ISO standards. We are not a manufacturer, which gives us a bit of a benefit where we're not aligned to the CASTAS product. We have the flexibility of other brands where we can source globally. This gives us and our customers a really good product range of products where we can get special items We can make special items to their needs and applications. It gives us flexibility too. Sorry, it gives us flexibility where we can custom make products. We can source different products through our global supply chain of different brands and styles of seals for their applications. Next one, please. Next slide. What is the impact of a seal failure? A seal is just a very small cost item, but its failure has detrimental cost effects. Delays in production, machines could be down for hours, days, weeks, just for the loss of a seal or failure of a seal. A $20, $30 item, unbelievable and cost down. So it's really important to have a really good quality product to help minimize downtime. The risks of a poor quality seal. If it leaks, it can have environmental hazards with leakages. We all hear now about oil getting in the water system, on the ground, it's contamination, slips, falls, leaks. So it has a really big impact if the seal fails environmentally. Damage and wear to the cylinder. The seal fails, have metal on metal contact. Repair costs are excessive. We have contamination get in if the rod wiper fails. So again, it's a detrimental cost. The maintenance costs too. A good quality seal will maintain the service life and help the cylinder meet its required hours under normal operating conditions. Next slide, please. Materials. There are so many different materials we can use in hydraulic seals and pneumatic seals. Materials have evolved over the years. From the initial start, when we used to use leather, then we went to rag and rubber and plain rubber. So rubber is a general term. And we've heard of nitrile, butene. They have different names for rubbers. But realistically, rubbers, the main rubbers are MBR, HMBR, and FKM, which is Viton. We also use EPDMs and neoprenes. Those sort of rubbers are used in certain specialty applications. Rubbers are quite often used as rod wiper, rod seals, and piston seals in low to medium pressure applications. In a pneumatic cylinder, 90% of the products would be rubber orientated due to the low pressure. Rubber is a really good, it reacts very quickly to pressure fluctuations. So in some hydraulic applications, we just go to rubber for the reason that it reacts quickly. Downfalls of rubber, not compatible to some fluids. It's got a very low tear strength, it can tear. Whereas polyurethane is a lot more abrasive resistance. Durability is hard. It's used in rod wipers, rod seals, and piston seals. Medium to high pressure applications. But we can get a really high pressure if we do support rings and parts that with our polyurethane seals. Thermoplastics, TPEs. It's a combination of a rubber and a plastic offering flexibility and strength. Used in rod scrapers, and I say the word scraper rather than a wiper because in certain applications, the rods get very contaminated with mud, slag, contaminants from the oxidation. So it acts as a really hard barrier and scrapes contamination off the rod rather than wiping it. They're used in rod seals and two-piece piston caps, TPE. You've probably seen them with an O-ring or a square energizer. Then they have a cap which could be red, blue, purple, a hard plastic material, which is still flexible. It gives good tensile strength, so you can stretch it over one piece piston and it comes back. It's evasive and cut resistant, so it works quite well. Also, it helps against extrusion. When we have our PTFEs, they offer chemical resistance and high temperature resistance. Most of our PTEs are a field PTFE, so we have a molybdenol sulfate of bronze additive into it as a powder. We also put in a percentage of glass to give it some strength. Teflon, as we aware, is a very soft material and it stretches quite easily and has no memory. So by putting fillers in, we give it a bit more strength. It's used in piston caps and in applications where we need low friction, high speed, and high temperature. Thank you. Now I'd like to touch on our main part, which is our earth moving program. This is for seal kits, replacement seal kits for off-road mobile heavy-duty mining equipment. This project started about 10 years ago, where demands of our customers looking for an alternative product to the OEM to make them more competitive in the market and in the cylinder exchange market. The requirements were quite strict. They had to be very OEM orientated. We had to have stock available, and we had to be very price competitive for them. The main equipment they were looking at was the Hitachi, Caterpillar, and Komatsu machinery in mining applications, the large equipment, rather than the smaller commercial equipment. Next slide, please. The applications for our seal kits are mainly used in off-highway trucks, dozers, excavators, wheel loaders, and graders. We don't have a lot of information on the small civil machinery, which you see in your local councils, so we're very orientated in the larger equipment, mining equipment, more so in the open cut mining. To speak with our Caterpillar products first, in our Caterpillar products, Motion offer OEM seal kits for haul truck, dozers, wheel loaders, and graders. We also offer a hybrid truck seal kit. So the hybrid truck seal kit is a combination of OEM product and an aftermarket product. This is mainly supplied to customers who look after their own fleet or a cylinder exchange unit and are very conscious on price. You know, they want that competitive edge on pricing. So we offer that hybrid truck seal kit. In our dozers, wheel loaders, and motor graders, our kits go back to the OEM specification. We don't have any hybrid truck kits on there. In our next slide, we offer the Komatsu seal kit. The Komatsu are in a haul truck, dozers, and wheel loaders and excavators. We also offer the DU or glacier bushes, which come to this. Our kits in our Komatsu are a direct OEM equivalent. We do not have a hybrid brand. So when you purchase a Komatsu product from us, you're getting the same as you would from the OEM. Slide. With the Hitachi, same as the Komatsu, we offer kits for backhoes, excavator loaders, and DU bushes. Our kits are also OEM spec, but we can reduce that down to an aftermarket kit if needed. But we don't have a need. We find that our own product is very competitive in the market. Our suppliers. Big question we always get asked, or I get asked a lot, is are our products a Chinese copy? The answer to that is no. We've developed a supply chain through a lot of trade show visits, customer visits, manufacturer visits over many years. Motion is a very large global company, and we find that a lot of the manufacturers want to deal with Motion, want to be a partnership with Motion. So it has helped us evolve in our product, what we source. I often say to people, Caterpillar don't make seals, Hitachi don't make seals. They employ people to manufacture their cylinders, and their cylinders are the people who deal with the OEM manufacturers of seals. We have that same path to the manufacturers of the seals. In addition to the OEMs manufacturers, we use the well-known global suppliers of many OE products from Freudenberg, SKF, and Trelleborg. These are our suppliers of the hybrid parts which go into our Caterpillar kits. As we're all aware, they're well-known brands, very good quality, good Q&A. So when I talk about a hybrid Caterpillar kit, I'm really confident that it's spec'd up to that same as the OEM by using those products of these manufacturers. Next slide, please. Before I touch on this one, we do have some benefits over the OEMs on our earth moving kits. We have the flexibility to change, make some changes, improve, and value add to the kits, where the OEM product is basically an OEM product. You get what's in their bill of material. You can't change things. You can't change the materials. So we do have that benefit in our product that we can change and make customer needs. Have we tried our products? Yes, we have. We have successfully field trials with Palmer Comics and Balikpapan through our CVC Indonesian people. Palmer Comics had issues with supply chain. The lead times from the OEMs were excessive. They were getting costly. So they approached us to see whether we could help them supply products. So we looked at the 785 front rear struts, front suspension kits, and we went through the long detailed process of having our parts QA inspected, trialed, fitted, bench tested, and eventually put on field trials where they had to surpass a required 14,000 hours of operation. The next few slides, which are going to go there, demonstrate the test reports that we get from the Palmer Comics from the start where they measure our product and the QA right through. So this one here shows you they've demonstrated the cylinders that's going to go on, the rear struts. It then goes through where they have their OEM product and they're measuring, comparing it compared to the product we supplied. So they have the measurements and they tick it all off and they check it all the way through. So this, next slide, please. Again, we go through every component in the kit. Once it's all been checked off by the QA department, it goes through a fitment test where it goes into their assembly and they data the assembly. They measure, they look at it, they check it all that it's fit for purpose and it fits quite well. Once that happens, they actually bench test it to make sure it works. So the next slide will show the cylinder has been bench tested. They document it. You have the final inspection. They then measure the truck. Sorry, not measure. They document the truck number and they put it out for a field trial. Our kits surpass our meeting, our requirement of 14,500 hours. And we're happy to say now we do supply Palmer Mining with their product for the 785 dump trucks. This has gone a long way in qualifying our product. We now have a lot of business with other mining companies in Indonesia for this product. Slide, thank you. One thing we also offer is because of our expertise, we have over about David, myself and other team members, about 50 years experience in hydraulic seals. One thing we do offer is available upon request. We can visit a customer site or their workshop to go through the dismantling of a cylinder which has actually failed prematurely or has just failed and they want to have answers. We can go there, we can watch the dismantling, have a look, document, have a look at all the characteristics and offer possible causes of the failures. We then go back and determine that and come back with a detailed analysis of what are recommendations to prevent this happening in the future. So here's an example of a seal failure analysis report on a Hitachi cylinder, and we do this as a part of our service. Next slide, please. Why choose us? Why choose Motion? Custom solutions. As I mentioned before, we just can supply the OEM spec kit, or we can make custom-made kits to meet the customer's needs. We can supply a kit with improvements for different applications, operating conditions, pressure ratings. We tailor make a kit where we can add the DU bush in rather than buying it separately. The iron pin bearings, the pin wipers, valves, boots, bearings. We can add it all in to make a special customization kit. We have significant cost savings on our OEM kits compared to the OEM. We reduce minimum downtime because we have, to be competitive in the market, we need to keep stock. We have a lot of stock of kits. So that is a real good thing for us to reduce downtime. Our customers get their kits next day. During COVID, it was a very prevalent where customers were waiting 18 months for kits. We were able to reduce this minimum downtime. We have value-added services. So in other divisions of Motions, we have bearings, we have bushes, skewerings, Hardy spikes of drive shafts repairs, cooling engine fans. We have our hose and fittings department. We do hydraulic motors and pumps, Donaldson filters. We do undercarriage work as well. So there's a lot of things we can do for your machinery rather than just the hydraulic cylinder seal kits. Next slide, please. Problem solution. Again, we had a customer with a fleet of haul trucks who was struggling to source the kits. He was very hesitant to use us initially. He was scared of the risk of changing from an OEM to us. But the excessive costs he was encountering by having machines in downtime, not able to get the pair, prompted him to at least try our product. We had stock in hand, meeting the OE specifications. He tried them, it worked. It was successful with him. It minimised his downtime. He got his machine and fleet back running. He had a cost saving from using our product, and it's a flexibility that we could add other products to him to save him costings. So in the end, the outcome for him was, with the customer, was a better outcome using our product, a cost-effective solution, stock on hand, commercial saving. Innovation. We try and develop new products for the market, for our customers. So we've been looking at the ball studs on steering kits for the Caterpillar 777, 785, 789, 793. Currently, a customer has to buy every item individually: the ball stud, the nut, the outer races, the seal kit. What Motion are putting together now is a service kit where you get all the components, including the seal kit, packed up in one service kit to do your ball stud servicing. Our ball studs have been tested independently with the New South Wales University. We have test documents for peace of mind, knowing that the product is an equivalent product to the OEM product. This saves the customer also time. Purchasing saves purchasing multiple items. You can get everything from one supplier. And again, there's a cost saving, cost benefit for the customer. Next slide, please. So we'll just go just a few minutes for any Q&A, and I'll just pause there, and if anyone has any questions, please ask. If anyone has any further questions later on, you can please email, send an email through to us, and we can get back to you on those emails. So if there's no further questions, I'll send you over to David Stoddart, who can talk about our custom-made machine seal. Thank you, David. You're on mute, David.
That would help if I turned my mic on. Sorry about that. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. We appreciate that you're all busy. So yeah, we really appreciate you giving up your time to join us on this webinar. So the next 5 or 10 minutes, I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot of our machine seal division, which we make predominantly our custom-made seals. It was an add-on division that we sort of brought on or started up. It was to fill not only just gaps that we have in our product range, you know, whether it's like if we were missing or parts that sort of in between parts, because we can't carry everything. So the team is called, the division is called Interseal. And I just had a quick, Mark mentioned earlier that between ourselves, we have about over 50 years of experience. So I did a quick run around the workshops, and yeah, quick head count was, yeah, over 100 years. So in an industry or manufacturing that's struggling for tradesmen, yeah, we're very lucky to have, yeah, such a deep knowledge and experience in our organization. We're located nationally, so I'll just show you where the machines are spread around the country. We have 5 machines in total. So we've got 1 in Brisbane in Queensland, 3 down in New South Wales in our Seven Hills, and one over in Malaga in WA. So basically the one in WA doesn't, yeah, it's predominantly for the WA market, but it also gives us that flexibility of the time difference, being a 2 hour time difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. We can fulfill sort of a late urgent order that might come through for an urgent breakdown. 9 times out of 10, we can, if it's not too late, we can yeah, get that through probably over to the East Coast overnight and have it here the next morning. Our team is led by Elaine, as you can see him there on the top right hand corner, busy yeah, programming a seal, and he's based out of Seven Hills. We can just move on to the seal profiles. So seal profiles, I'll just touch on the seal profiles and software. So basically, all our seals, or all our machines, they're all MCO metal turning lathes that have been retrofitted to cut rubbers, plastics, polyurethanes. I'm sure there's a few of us on the webinar here that are our ex-tradesmen that have obviously tried to machine a piece of rubber or polyurethane back in the past, and yeah, we all know it didn't come out that well. They crumble. We put rubber in the freezer overnight, and yeah, just so we could try and machine it, but the minute the tool warms up, it just crumbles. And yeah, well, long gone are those days. Thanks to our software that's been developed through, we use the DMH software, which is an Austrian machine manufacturing company and materials. So basically, the software comes with pre-programs. So we've got it's over 100 pre-programs, and these are what we call our standard profiles. A standard profile is basically a seal that you would use in every day. It's just one that we might not have, or we can choose it in a different material. So you can see that down in the bottom is sort of a profile chart, and that's our standard seals. So in the middle, the screenshot in the middle, which shows you that little red seal, that is what the machinist will come up on his screen once he's entered all the parameters into the software. It's a very user friendly. It's very quick. It's not hand programmed, and so basically you can see the parameters come up, and on the bottom right you'll see a cross sectional view of a seal profile, and these sizes can be changed. So instead of having to hand program the whole thing, he can just go in, the machinist can go in and basically just tweak these according to the application. So it might be for extra heavy duty where we want to shorten the lip, increase the interference or the preload, and vice versa. If it's a low pressure application, we can do that as well. So it's very user friendly, very quick, very easy. In saying that, we also, being CNC machines, we can program these machines to machine non-standard. When I say non-standard is the ones that Mark was talking about in the harsh environments, the ones that need to do over 14,000 hours. There might be a worn house. It might be as simple as just an oversized gland or oversized barrel. Sorry. So instead of rebarreling it, we can dial up a non-standard special profile, and that's what we call a custom seal. An example of that is that little one on the right that you can see in the middle. That's basically a bearing isolator. It's machined out of our PTFE, machined inside, in-house. So there's basically not a profile that we can't machine, as long as it's within, obviously, the tooling parameters and materials that we have. Can we move on to the materials? Just going to basically, Mark did go through the compounds of the materials, the rubbers and the NBRs. I just want to touch on the variety that we have, or the range. So like we say, like a polyurethane is not just a polyurethane. So you've got the elastomers, which is our polyurethanes and our rubbers, or NBRs. And to give you an example, the polyurethane we have, there's 17 different types of polyurethanes, and these range or different compounds, and these range in shore hardnesses from a 95 shore A through to your 57D or your 72Ds, and these are constantly evolving, and they're being introduced to replace materials like PTFEs and things like that for easier installation. With rubbers or the NBRs, we've got 9 different types or 9 different compounds. Silicons, 3 different compounds. It's way too much to go through each material. With Vitons, we've got 10 different compounds. And with PTFE, which is your filled, it can go from your virgin Teflon, which is just a virgin Teflon PTFE, right through to your PTFE peaks, so which is your high temperatures and extreme materials for harsh conditions, I suppose. Your thermoplastics. We can. I also forgot to mention that we can machine up to 600 millimeters in-house and up to 4 meters with our partners overseas in Germany and Austria. So can we move on to the machine advantages? So machine seal advantages. So we all know that seals are conventionally produced through molding, right? Molding seals are good. We're not saying they're bad. We have them, we stock them, we sell them, but they do come with, a cost. To develop a tool, to develop a molded seal, there's molding costs involved. This takes time. It costs money. It's inflexible once it's made. You can't change it. Made to order stock. Lead times can blow out to 8 weeks. A machine seal can take, from start to finish on a seal, about 12 minutes. So, like I said, it's when you've got these long lead times, made to order stock, machine seals reduce those long lead times. Different molds for different materials. So you can't, if they change the material for whatever application, or the fluid might change, the conditions might change, a new tool has to be made. Seals from old stocks and different batches, they get mixed up. So when you're constantly restocking, you mix up the old seals with the new seals. The customer gets an old seal, it happens. Product development, it's time and cost dependent. So to develop a new part, it all takes time, molding costs. So there's quite a big cost involved. Where with a machine seal, it's basically you can do your startups or your retro types, and it doesn't cost any tooling. You can put it in, cycle test it, and then you can go into the manufacturing process or the molding process. MRO problems. Look what happened during COVID. Like Mark said earlier, lead times blew out to 18 months. So we can make seals as you need them. If you need 1, 10, 100, we can make them made to order in quantities that you require. I think lastly is a little success story that we came across. And this was an interesting one. I've done many Trunnion seals, or with the CBC guys back in the day. 3.5 meters on various ball mills around the mines. But this one I thought I would mention because this was an old boy. This one was, to say the least, it was a bit of a challenge. It was it's a ball mill on a wash plant on a mining site, and basically, as you can see from the picture, it's all caked with debris and waste, and so like I said, the mining site actually contacted us because they had trialed many machined options through various suppliers, So we were approached, and this is what we were faced with. So basically, what there was, back in 1908, I don't think there was any polyurethane or PTFEs or rubbers around, probably, that could seal these. So it was probably a bit of rope or a bit of leather. It probably worked back in the day. But when we got there, we were faced with, they were using a gland packing. It was like a 1-inch square. There was around 5 millimeters of run out on the shaft. So when we got there, we were basically faced with an environmental mess. It was Water was bypassing the gland packing. It was getting into the oil. The oil was leaking out through the gland packing, and it was just environmentally and safety. So they basically and the downtime costs were just astronomical. They were changing these gland packings out 3 to 4 times a year. So we were contacted, and we did this in 2 steps. We as an old ball mill made in 1908, there was no drawings available to us. We had no sizes to go off. The bolt holes had been re-drilled, and so we basically we went down, attended site, and we measured up the ball mill and went away, and then we basically had a blue sky, and we designed up a split seal because custom requirements were they didn't want to dismantle the whole thing. So we came up with a split seal, back-to-back split seal, which you can see here. It's a very, very simple design on the right-hand bottom corner. And so when the seals arrived, this one's about 2 meters in diameter. When the seals arrived, we attended site again and assisted with the installation. And to date, it's still running 18 months later. Same seals. We actually supplied a spare set for them that they haven't used. So this was a really good outcome, given that it's the parameters, the 5 millimeter run out, the conditions. So this was one of our nicer success stories. So on that, I think that concludes just a snapshot. I hope it gives you some sort of insight into our machining capabilities. And so like I said, please reach out to Mark, myself, the Interseal team, and happy to help you. So I think if there's any questions, or will you move to a Q&A?
We've got a question from Aldo. What is the process for custom designed seal and solutions?
Sorry, just rephrase it.
What is the process for custom designed seal and solutions?
Okay, so you can get you can contact any of our motion branches, customer representatives, myself or Mark, or the motion email, and just send us through all your the application that you are looking at, that you want us to have a look at, and then we will get in touch, and we will either attend on site, or we can do that through email or telephone. I hope that answers your question.
Yep, perfect. I think that's it. So we'll wrap up now.
Okay. Look, thank you. Look, we're going to wrap it up now. So it's been an hour of your time. So look, Dave and I really appreciate your time today. I hope there's been a bit of insight for you, a bit of information. If you feel like you want to reach out to Dave and I personally, any questions or any information required, please feel free to do so. Post this webinar. Everyone who's been online will get an email of this webinar. We can touch back through there. There'd be other ideas or questions that come through. So again, I thank you very much for your time, and have a good day. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.